Hello everybody, welcome to a Trader Spotlight Product Showcase Special. I'm your host RPM from DayTraderRadio.com and RPMTech.tv. Today's special guest is Michael McDonald from the Eye in the Sky Ultimate Trade Planning Platform. Also stick around at the end for some special deals just for the DTR members. Enjoy.
Finally, a trading planner that outperforms the rest compared to all the other professional trading planners. Oh wait, there are none. Eye in the Sky is the only inclusive end-to-end solution for planning and tracking trades. Easy technical analysis with powerful scanning capabilities. Personalize your dashboard, define your rules, and then the My Rating will show you which trading opportunities match your trading style. Now featuring My Web Pages. Any stock, any web page, just one mouse click. All your favorite sites, all in one location. How cool is that? Eye in the Sky, the only product in its class, customized to your trading style. Plan instead of chasing those profits. Start your 30-day free trial only at eyeintheskyscreener.com.
Eye in the Sky Trade Planning has a very powerful screener built into the software. You can actually filter on hundreds of technical and fundamental criteria in any combination. And loading up those filters is simple as selecting them from this My Filters list once you define them. And you'll notice that we went from 6,800 stocks down to 121 stocks. So it's very powerful and very quick. Let's just go through the process of creating a filter and show you how that works. So I'll hit this Clear Filters box to go ahead and clear that out. And what you do is you simply specify your criteria. So let's say stochastics oversold, price at least $10, minimum daily volume of 100,000. And let's choose a couple patterns here in the box. And now we're down to 39 stocks. And to create the filter, I simply right-click on My Filters, and I'll just call this one Demo for this purpose. And hit Save. And now you've got that filter established for any time in the future. And you can create as many of these as you want and use any combination of criteria that you want. Let me go ahead and show you a little bit more about how you can customize the criteria that's in the software. Let's just hit Clear Filters again. Let's say that in the price box you wanted to change the values that appear in that box. Let's say you wanted to have 50 in that list and you don't need $5 in there, so you can get rid of that and hit Save. And now you'll notice that the list is customized to your settings. You can do this with any list in the software and personalize it to what values you use the most. You can also change the technical indicators. So if we go into Tools Settings, go to the Calculations tab, you can actually change the different settings for the technical indicators that get calculated. You can choose between simple or exponential moving averages, fast, slow, and full on the stochastics, and change the time periods for all the other different types of indicators such as MACD, Keltner channel, and hit Save and it'll recalculate those indicators for you. So you can customize it and personalize it to your trading style and the indicators that you like to use. Now you'll notice that at the bottom of the screen that FinViz is showing in this built-in browser. And if I click on a different stock ticker in here, it'll automatically bring up FinViz for any stock ticker in my list. So that's called the My Web Pages, and it's a real powerful feature because you can actually define any web page for any stock symbol to come up automatically for you so you don't have to type in ticker symbols on websites any longer. So let's say we go to Apple and we want to go look at the MSN Stock Scouter web page. Simply select MSN Stock Scouter from the list and we've got the MSN Stock Scouter showing at the bottom. We can go back to Agilent up here. We can maximize the screen and you'll notice that it switched over to Agilent for MSN Stock Scouter. And you can just switch between these lists. You can define any web page, and I will show you how easy that is to do. Let's just go to Apple in the stock list, and then let's go over to Google in this browser that's built in. And once we get to Google, let's go ahead and find Yahoo Finance. Let's say you like to use Yahoo Finance to do your research, and we'll find it for that stock ticker that we happen to be on in the list. And let's say that you like to look at the Key Statistics page. So let's just click on Key Statistics here. And as you can see, it's the Key Statistics in Yahoo Finance. And let's say we want to view this page for every stock ticker symbol in the software. You simply copy this web address above the web page by selecting it and right-clicking and choosing Copy. Then we right-click on the My Web Pages box up here. And I'll just call this YF for now, for Yahoo Finance. And we'll paste that in there. And we'll hit save, and you can call them anything you want. But now when we click Agilent, you'll notice that the key statistics comes up for Agilent. And if you click on any stock ticker in the software, it'll actually come up for that stock for you automatically. And like I said, you can customize this and put in as many research websites that you like to use as you want. So it's a very powerful feature in the software, and you can actually maximize this lower section of the web browser to take up more of the screen as you're doing your research, so you don't have to scroll up and down. You can also detach the web browser and put it on a different screen of your software. So if you right-click where it says web browser and choose detach, you can actually drag this off to another monitor on your computer if you have multiple monitors. So it's a very powerful feature that is very flexible. You can configure it to the way that you use your computer and take advantage of the multiple monitors if you have that type of setup. You can also reorganize these tabs. So if I wanted web browser to be the second tab in here, I can drag these tabs around. Even up here in the filtering section, if I wanted to use the custom section, can drag that over to the second position and just kind of make it more accessible by being one of the first tabs in the list. Let me show you the Filter Assistant, which is a very user-friendly interface to specify your filter criteria. You'll notice that there is a hierarchical tree list showing all the different criteria grouped by what type of criteria it is. You've got your technical indicators under the technical section. You've got different price points, opening, close, high, low. You can actually go back in history, so you could compare today's closing price against yesterday's closing price. So let's just do that real quick to show you how that works. So we'd simply choose today's closing price, and then we put the number of days ago, 1. If we hit save here, that's actually making sure that all the stocks in the list have a higher closing price today than they did yesterday. And you can go back as many days as you want. That's available for both price and volume. So if you wanted to use trending on price and volume, you can do it that way. You'll also notice that there's this My Favorite section down at the bottom of the list. You can add the criteria you use the most often by right-clicking on it, choosing Add to My Favorites, and give it a descriptive name. It defaults by how it's named in the list, but I could just call that High Price. And now if we expand this My Favorites, you'll notice that High Price is available in there for me to select. So if I wanted to compare today's high price against yesterday's high price, it's as simple as selecting those from the My Favorites section at the bottom of the screen and then hit save. So it's very flexible, and there are hundreds of different criteria you can use. You've got fundamentals at your disposal, got the latest 4 years of annual reports, got 5 quarters of quarterly reports, you've got the ratios, the margins, different returns like return on assets, return on equity. I can't go into each one of these because the time on this demonstration is limited, but as I expand these, you'll notice that there are just so many different options to compare. You even have trending on average EPS estimates by analysts, so you could look for upticks or downticks on the estimates for EPS. And if you're the kind of trader that doesn't like to trade stocks that have had a downgrade in their EPS average, you can detect that and incorporate that into your filter. So that's just an overview of the screening capabilities of the software. Let me talk about the dashboard next, and we'll get into that and talk about what this My Ratings is right after the commercial.
Finally, a trading planner that outperforms the rest compared to all the other professional trading planners. Oh wait, there are none. Eye in the Sky is the only inclusive end-to-end solution for planning and tracking trades. Easy technical analysis with powerful scanning capabilities. Personalize your dashboard, define your rules, and then the My Rating will show you which trading opportunities match your trading style. Now featuring My Web Pages. Any stock, any web page, just one mouse click. All your favorite sites, all in one location. How cool is that? Eye in the Sky, the only product in its class, customized to your trading style. Plan instead of chasing those profits. Start your 30-day free trial only at eyeintheskyscreener.com.
Welcome back. In this part of the demonstration, I'm going to discuss the dashboard in Eye in the Sky trade planning. Basically, what the dashboard is a mile-high view of how closely each stock in the software matches your personal trading style. You actually define the rules in each one of these cells, and those rules change the colors of the cells. So if you define a cell to be a pro, and I'll just open up the rules on this particular cell, price, And you'll notice in the type column, there are 3 different types. You've got pro, which is something good about the stock. You've got a warning, which is something bad about the stock. And then you've got error, which is something bad about the stock, but is much more severe than a warning. So you define your rules. So let's say in this particular instance, we've said if the closing price is less than $1, it's going to be an error. And if the price is greater than $10, it's going to be something good about the stock. And that'll actually change the colors of the cell. The pros will change the cell green, warnings will change the cells yellow, and error will change the cells red. And actually, if we cancel out of this box and we hover over this red exclamation point, we'll actually see how the stock is matching those rules. So in this particular case, we'll see that the price is $33.41 compared to our rule of it being greater than $10. So you can actually see how the rules are being met on these by hovering over these bubbles next to the cells. And this My Rating over to the left side is actually a quantifiable number assigned to how it met all of your different rules in all of these different boxes. So the base rating is a 5 for all the stocks. Each stock starts out with a 5. And if it meets all of your pro rules that you've defined in all these cells, it can add up to 5 positive points to that rating, giving it a maximum rating of 10. Now you've got your warnings and your errors that are also considered. So your warnings can take down the rating by 1 point, and if all your errors are met, it could take it down another 4 points. So if everything is bad about the stock and there's nothing good about it, it would be a 0 in the My Rating. So it combines all of those and weights them together, and it comes up with that My Ratings over on the left side here. Well, actually, if you hover over it, it'll tell you how many of the different pros, warnings, and errors it matches. So if you look for a My Rating that's higher, you can find the stocks that are closer to your trading style that you've defined in this screen. And so like a 7 is a pretty high on the scale. And you can actually filter on this. So if we go back to the View tab and we go over to the Ratings tab, we can filter on My Ratings. So if we want to look at the 9s, these are the stocks that are 9s if we scroll through this list. And we can hover over the different rules, and we can tell by the colors on the screen which rules are being matched. And this is real helpful because it's actually finding stocks for you that are closely matched to your trading style because you've defined all this stuff. You go in and put as much detail as you possibly can into these cells so that it knows how best to match stocks to your trading preferences. And you can put as many rules in these cells as you want. So if I open up this average EPS estimates, you'll notice I have quite a few rules in this one cell. You can put as many as you want. So you can get, if you wanted to get really detailed on the average EPS estimates, you could look for no downticks in the time trends of the EPS estimates. So like the current EPS estimate is the same or greater than 7 days ago, 30 days ago, 60 days ago, 90 days ago. You can put all of these rules in here and say if it's greater than, you can make it a pro or a positive thing, bumping up the My Rating for you. And if they downticked in any of those time frames, you could make it an error or a warning, which would lower the My Rating. So it actually is personalized and customized to your needs, and it'll display anything that you want. So that's an overview. And also in these rules, you can click this green button to bring up the filter assistant to specify those. So it's very easy to specify those different rules. And like I said, there's hundreds to choose from. So you should be able to define your trading style inside this dashboard and have it start working for you to find the right stocks that match your style. So that's the dashboard in a nutshell. Let's look at some of the other stuff in Eye in the Sky trade planning that is at your disposal. You've got this Fundamentals tab that has the 4 most recent annual reports, the 5 most recent quarterly reports, and the year-to-date totals. And they're all color-coded, so if something has increased from year to year, it'll actually be green, and if something has gone down, it'll be red. So you can look at the screen at a high level and tell just by the sheer amount of green and red what's good about it in the financials or what's bad about it. And the great thing is you can actually look at this right next to the chart and look at the technical aspect of it right next to the fundamental aspect of it without digging up earnings reports and looking at graphs and comparing numbers and doing spreadsheets or anything like that. You've got it all visually right at your disposal to do your research all in one place. And if you wanted to dig further into the financials, you can actually change to the My Web page for Google Finance. And you've got the financials right at your disposal in the web browser. So if you wanted to look at some other things other than sales, net income, cash, or total debt, you can look at their entire income statement or their balance sheet and dig into the numbers even deeper without having to go somewhere else. You just, with one mouse click, we switched over to that My Web page, and it's right there in front of you. So it's very consolidated, and you don't have to spend a lot of time switching around to different places for researching. Let's look at another tab. This CPS Trends tab is very handy. It's the average analyst EPS estimates, and it's trended. So you've got the current estimates by the analysts, as well as what those numbers were 7 days ago, 30 days ago, 60 days ago, and 90 days ago. So you can tell if they've been revised over those different time periods. And this is color-coded just like the fundamental screen. So if it's been revised upwards, it's going to be green, and if it's been revised downwards, it's going to be red. So it's real helpful to spot trends just based on the colors of the screen. Very helpful and very useful. Another section, let's talk about research. Let's go down to the bottom here. We've got Analyst Ratings. So if we go through these different stocks, we'll find one here that has ratings recently. It'll actually show you the company and the date that it was issued, the range that they've given, and the percent change since they issued that opinion. So it's kind of back testing their opinion against what the price was when they issued the opinion and what it currently is. We've got insider trading also available at your disposal. So you've got sales and purchases of stock from people within the company. You can actually filter on all this stuff. So if we go back to the View tab and we look at the Insider Trading tab, you can filter on buy transactions. Let me just clear out the other filter criteria I have just to show this example. So we hit Clear Filters. We go over to Insider Trading, and let's look for transactions that were buys by insiders within the last 5 days with a value of at least $750,000. That has narrowed our list down to 3 stocks, and if we go to Insider Trading, we'll see those transactions in here. Here's a couple of transactions for $1 million in here. So you can actually filter on insider trading. You can do that for ratings too. So let me clear this again. Go over to the ratings tab, and let's say in the last 5 days we want to see a stock that's been upgraded from above average to buy. And we can select multiple of these. Apparently there's none with that specific upgrade, but let's just expand this list and let's look for a couple different things in here. And you can specify multiple things at the same time. So let's say anything upgrade or changed from a buy to a different status here. And now we've got 10 stocks. And we can actually go over to the ratings screen. And you can see those transactions. It was changed from a buy to a neutral. It was a downgrade. And it gives you the range and the information we showed just a second ago. So you can actually filter on that ratings information just like the insider trading. You've got MSN Stock Scouter ratings over here too. So if you wanted to filter on MSN Stock Scouter ratings, and that's one of the rating systems you like, let's just clear this out, go to ratings again, and let's pick anything between 8 and a 10. And now we have 760 stocks that have those Stock Scouter ratings. But then we can combine that with price levels. So let's look for stocks that are at least $20 with a minimum daily average volume of 100,000. And now we're down to 419, and you could actually add patterns and other things to that and shrink that list way down to just the stocks that you're looking for. So it's very flexible, very customizable. Let's see what else we got here. We've got the industry pairs. So if you wanted to look at the other companies inside the same industry as the company that you're currently on in the list on the left, you'll notice that it highlights the stock that you're on in green, so you can quickly tell that stock from the others when you sort the screen. So let's sort by market cap. You'll notice that we're on Advanced Auto Parts, so that just allows you to quickly identify the one that we're trying to compare. And you can change these columns. So if you right-click on the top of the grid here and choose Column Designer, those hundreds of criteria I talked about, you can actually choose those columns to display and use those to compare the different stocks to each other. And you can quickly sort by a column by just clicking the column itself, and then sort the other direction by clicking it again. You could also drag these columns around. So let's say you want market cap over here, you just drag that column and it's over there now. So it's very customizable in the way that you look at it and the way that you use it. I think this is a very powerful tool to compare a company to its peers in the industry. So when we come back from the commercial, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the capabilities of eye-in-the-sky trade planning. Thank you for joining us.
Finally, a trading planner that outperforms the rest compared to all the other professional trading planners. Oh, wait, there are none. Eye in the Sky is the only inclusive end-to-end solution for planning and tracking trades. Easy technical analysis with powerful scanning capabilities. Personalize your dashboard, define your rules, and then the My Rating will show you which trading opportunities match your trading style. Now featuring My Web Pages. Any stock, any web page, just one mouse click. All your favorite sites, all in one location. How cool is that? Eye in the Sky, the only product in its class, customized to your trading style. Plan instead of chasing those profits. Start your 30-day free trial only at eyeintheskyscreener.com.
Welcome back. In the next section of the demonstration, I'd like to talk about the trade planning capabilities of Eye in the Sky. And what we want to do is go over to the Observations and Timing tab at the top of the screen. You'll notice on the right side you've got 5 different positions that you can plan. And this allows you to account for scaling in and scaling out of positions. So there's a couple settings that we want to consider when we're setting this all up. So if we go to the Tools Settings screen, we'll actually can put in our actual commission rate so that it gets factored into our potential loss and our potential profits when we record the transactions into our gains and losses. And also when it shows us when we're planning our trades. So let's say you're using E-Trade or somebody like that charges $9.99 per trade. You'd specify the $9.99, you'd select trade from the list, or you could put in, like Interactive Brokers does it by shares. You could choose shares here and put in the price that you're paying per share, and that would get calculated that way. And then there's also the shares tiered option in the list, in which if you have a different number of shares, you get charged a different rate. You can put in your ranges down in this table below and the different rates for those different ranges. But for this example, we're just going to do per trade. Let's say it's $9.99 per trade. And then we can go ahead and hit save there. That's going to actually use that to calculate our trade plan. So let's say that we are considering purchasing some Agilent technologies, and let's say that we want to get in there at $33.45. And on the shares box, there's actually some settings that you can set up for it to default those for you. So if we go back into the Tool Settings screen, let me show you those. If we go to the Defaults tab, you'll notice that there are 3 options here. You can have a static number of shares, so if you always buy 100 shares, you can just choose number of shares and put in 100, and it'll put 100 in there every time you tab to that from the entry price. You can also put in your market position, so say you always want to purchase $10,000 worth of stock. You can put 10,000 in there, and after you've put in the entry price, let's just type that in there again so it causes it to fill that in for us. It'll calculate the number of shares that get you as close to 10,000 as possible without going over. And then there's a third option that was in there. If we go back to defaults, there's maximum potential loss. I know we're all not willing to take any losses in the market, but if you wanted a maximum possible loss based on your stop loss price, this would actually calculate that for you. So say you were only willing to lose $100 on a trade, and this is going to look at your stop loss to calculate that. And we hit save here. Let me just clear these things out here again so we can start over. And let's say we're going to get back in at $33.45, tab out, skip the shares, and then put in our loss point, which would be 33, let's just say $33.25. Tab out of there. It's calculated as close to a $100 loss as it could get, and it's come up with 500 shares for us. So it's based around the loss that you could take. So let's just continue on here in the trade plan. And let's say you put in your first price objective, and let's say that this is going up to $39.99. And tab out. You'll notice that it's calculated the risk to reward ratio for you based on your loss point and your objective and the entry price. So the risk to reward allows you to focus on the most profitable trading opportunities. The lower the risk to reward ratio, the less profitable they are. And if you put in your price targets, and let's just say $44.99 is the next target we're looking at, you can focus on risk to reward ratios of being greater than 2 or 3 and use that in your filtering or sorting so that you can focus on just those opportunities that will give you the best reward for the investment. You'll also notice that there's this green button that you can click, and what that'll do is allow you to record your actual transaction into the gains and losses screen. So let's say you got in at $33.45 and this thing went out to $34.29. tab out of there. It's calculated your commissions and fees for the round trip. Put in your opening and closing date, and you hit save. That's actually recorded into the gains and losses screen, that transaction for you. Then it asks you if you want to clear out your position plan so that you can plan for your next entry for that stock. So if you say yes, it's cleared out all these boxes for you. So that's a very powerful feature in trade planning so that you can actually focus on the most profitable trades. So let's take a look at the gains and losses screen. You can actually import your gains and losses from your broker. And I've set up E-Trade in advance for this. And let me just run that real quick. I just select that from the list because you set it up once and then it remembers where the file is, and you just download that file to the same place from your broker each time. And it's brought in 643 records for us. And then let me go into the filtering screen, and let's just filter a specific time frame for the gains and losses. So let's say all of 2010 through April 30th. And now let's go over to the gains and losses at the bottom of the screen and switch the display to all tickers. And this is actually all the gains and losses recorded in that time frame that we specified up above. And we can actually aggregate these values. So let's say you wanted your annual totals, and then you don't want to see the tickers, you just want to see a grand total. You can hit this Hide Tickers button, and it'll show you your totals for 2010 and 2011. You can aggregate by month. So if you want to see monthly totals, you can look at running monthly totals for the current month plus previous months. You can also do it by week or by date, and that'll give you all your totals there. And then if you uncheck the Hide Tickers, it'll actually roll up per month what you did for each stock ticker. So like Budweiser here, we had for March of this year, we had $1,200. And if we wanted to revisit that stock, all we have to do is double click that ticker, and it takes us down to Bud in the list on the left. And if we go to our web browser, we can see where they're sitting in their technical position. We can bring up the fundamentals for it and just kind of check out where that stock is and whether or not we want to consider another trade on it. So it's really handy to be able to decide whether or not you want to go back into a trade again on a stock, because a lot of us like to revisit the same stocks over and over again if we're very successful in trading them. We learn their behavior and how the price action works out, and it's very predictable once you get to know a stock. But I think all these tools combined together are very powerful for you to focus on just the most profitable opportunities and then see actually how your performance is after the fact once you import your gains and losses from your brokerage, or you can manually enter them, either way. So that's been gains and losses and trade planning. We're going to break for another commercial, and I'll come back with some more powerful features of Eye in the Sky trade planning.
Finally, a trading planner that outperforms the rest compared to all the other professional trading planners. Oh, wait, there are none. Eye in the Sky is the only inclusive end-to-end solution for planning and tracking trades. Easy technical analysis with powerful scanning capabilities. Personalize your dashboard, define your rules, and then the My Rating will show you which trading opportunities match your trading style. Now featuring My Web Pages. Any stock, any web page, just one mouse click. All your favorite sites, all in one location. How cool is that? Eye in the Sky, the only product in its class, customized to your trading style. Plan instead of chasing those profits. Start your 30-day free trial only at eyeintheskyscreener.com.
All right, welcome back. I'm going to talk about how to add a stock to a focus list. By default, the system comes with 4 different focus lists, or lists that you can put stocks in. You've got your portfolio, short-term prospects, favorites, and a blacklist. If you never want to see a stock in any of the results ever again, you simply add it to the blacklist and you'll never see that ever again unless you remove it from the blacklist. So let's just do an example of that real quick. Let's say Agilent Technologies, for whatever reason, you don't want to see in the results. If I click on that stock and hit the B key on my keyboard, and then I go to a different stock, you'll notice the color of the ticker symbol is turned white on a black background, indicating that it's in the blacklist list. And if we hit clear now, we'll notice Agilent goes away and never shows up ever again. That's how you can actually remove stocks from any of your filter results. So if there's certain things that you don't trade, such as ETFs, you can filter on ETFs. Let me just show you how to do that real quick. Go to Financials. We'll go to ETFs, Exchange Traded Funds. And let's say all 1,200 of these you don't want to see in your results. You can click this box at the top left to select them all, and then hit the B key. And if we click off of them, you'll notice they all have been marked as blacklist. And now if we hit Clear Filters, you'll notice that none of those stocks show up. So if we filter on financial and ETF, no stocks appear because those are blacklisted. They will no longer be in your results. So that's a nice little feature in the views. The other lists, the ones that come with the software, you can simply hit the first letter of the name of the list to add them to that list. So if we went to Apple and we put that into our portfolio by hitting the P key, you notice it turns green when we go to a different ticker. And you can highlight several stocks at the same time using your Shift or Control key on your keyboard. I'll just grab a couple here. And you can add all of those at the same time by hitting the P on the keyboard. Or you can right-click on them and say Assign Tickers To and select what list you'd like to add them to from this drop-down. You can create your own lists as well. If you right-click on here and choose Create, you simply call the list anything you want. In this case, I'll call it Demo. You choose what key to press on the keyboard to assign tickers to that list. Then you define what color it would appear in the list. So let's say we want a blue background with white text. And hit Save. So now if I select a stock and hit D, it'll put it into that list, and you can do multiple like I showed you before. And you can create as many of these lists to organize your focus lists as you want. So it's a very nice way of organizing your stocks and keeping track of them. So that's how list management works, but once you've got them in that list, you can actually be notified of events that occur to those stocks. So if we go into Tools, Settings, we go to Rapid Fire Ticker Tape, we can select the different lists that get notifications for this. And we can select how long the message is displayed at the top of the screen. We'll see that in a moment. And how often the data is refreshed for those types of activities that happen to the stocks. You can look for next earnings date coming up, upgrades and downgrades that were issued recently, and also insider transactions. So if I hit Save here, and let's just grab something like Microsoft here, go do a find here to find Microsoft, and let's put this into my portfolio. And you'll notice that Microsoft has showed up as a rapid-fire ticker tape message up at the top of the screen. It tells you briefly what's going on with that stock. It's what type, an insider sale here. And a ratings change. And you'll see that just scrolling through all day long on your stocks to let you know if anything is developed on your stocks. So that's one way of staying on top of developments as they relate to your stocks. You also have notifications. So if we go to the Notifications tab down here, it'll tell you when a closing price is approaching one of your position plans that you've put into the observation and timing screen up here. So, and you can define what percentage distance the current closing price is from your plan. So if we go into Tool Settings, go to Notifications, you can choose which lists are involved in that. You can choose what percentage for entry price, stop loss, and both of your price targets. You can change this to 3% or whatever is appropriate for you. And you also can be notified of new help videos, educational type videos that I put together to help you learn about the software. And if a new version of the software is available, it'll show up in the Notifications tab. So if we hit Save there, it's going to calculate the notifications for us again. And I didn't have anything else approaching there, but this is a previous example under BMRC. It was approaching within 5% of our entry price that we planned. So we specified 35.05 as our entry price, and the closing price was 34.10 when this notification was generated. So that's really nice to stay on top of developments as far as price action and also other events like insider trading and ratings upgrades and downgrades. Let's take a look at the sector industry analysis. So let's just make sure that our filters are clear up here. And we'll visit the sector industry analysis tab. Here you have a screen where you can define what columns show up here. Right here I've defined the different performance for different time periods, telling you how many stocks are in that sector. And you can sort this just like you can any other grid in the software. So let's say we wanted to sort it by performance week. If we click the column several times, we can sort it one direction and then the other direction. And we'll notice that the best performance is the financial, and they're negative this week. Let's do it monthly. Let's sort ascending by performance for the month. So it looks like utilities is the best performing sector at this point, and that shows the industries within that sector. So we could sort those by month as well. And if we click on diversified utilities, on the right here we'll see all the stocks that are in diversified utilities. And you can specify any column you want, like market cap, PE ratio, all the hundreds of different criteria that are available in the system you can specify as columns in here. So you can do further analysis on the different corporations inside of an industry. And any one of these you can double click on and it'll go to that stock in the list on the left so that you can do further research in the web browser or in the fundamental screen or the EPS trends screen. So it allows you to go drill down through the sector and industry analysis and then go do your detailed research on that particular stock. So hopefully you've enjoyed this segment of the demonstration. We'll be right back, and after this commercial, I'm going to tell you how you can get this software.
Finally, a trading planner that outperforms the rest compared to all the other professional trading planners. Oh, wait, there are none. Eye in the Sky is the only inclusive end-to-end solution for planning and tracking trades. Easy technical analysis with powerful scanning capabilities. Personalize your dashboard, define your rules, and then the My Rating will show you which trading opportunities match your trading style. Now featuring My Web Pages. Any stock, any web page, just one mouse click. All your favorite sites, all in one location. How cool is that? Eye in the Sky, the only product in its class, customized to your trading style. Plan instead of chasing those profits. Start your 30-day free trial only at eyeintheskyscreener.com.
All right, welcome back. This is the last section of the demonstration, and I'm going to talk about how you can get your own copy of Eye in the Sky Trade Planning. So if you go to eyeintheskyscreener.com, click on the Downloads page, you'll notice that there's a 3-step process. You can request your free 30-day registration code. There's no credit card necessary. You simply click this button or email sales@eyeintheskyscreener.com, and I will send you a 30-day registration code that includes the full version of the software. There's no limitations whatsoever other than it only lasts for 30 days. And you can get started using Eye in the Sky Trade Planning today. And you have to install download Microsoft SQL Server for your platform, and then finally the screener. So it's a 3-step process. It's very simple, and if you have any problems, you can just email us, and we can get you up and running in no time. And let me talk about how to learn how to use Eye in the Sky Trade Planning once you get that installed. If you go back to Eye in the Sky Trade Planning, if you go to the Help Videos tab at the top of the screen, you'll notice that there are a list of topics on the left side, and you can choose to learn about the different parts of the software. So let's say My Web Pages, and we wanted to learn how to change the default My Web Page from FinViz to something that we use for our research personally. You can actually just click that link, and it'll bring up the educational video in whatever browser you use in Windows by default. And you can just click on and watch that video as it plays and learn more about the software as you're in the software. So you can just kind of follow along the video and get up to speed with the features of the software. So I'll go ahead and close that down. Another option is under the Help menu, you can choose View the Quick Start Guide. That is a very functional, it's laid out functionally, so based on how you trade, it gets you up to speed with the different portions of the software in a functional aspect. So how you would use the software as a trader, it's organized that way to get you up to speed on just the fundamentals of the software so you can get productive with the software as quick as possible. And they're organized by topic on here on the left, and you just go to the different sections to learn more about it. And then finally, you can look at the entire user guide. If you go to Help, View the User Guide, it'll bring it up in your browser, and if you scroll through this, you'll notice it's got every screen in the software and talks about all the features and how they work. And you can read that, you can print it, download it, whatever you want to do there, and it'll get you up to speed with every single feature of the software. So that concludes the demonstration. I'm going to hand it over to RPM, and he's going to talk about the special discount that Day Trading Radio members get for purchasing this software and being a member of Day Trading Radio. So thank you very much for listening to my demonstration. I look forward to hearing from you folks, and have a great evening.
All right, great job, Michael McDonald. Eye in the Sky Screener Ultimate Trade Planning Platform. Get it at eyeintheskyscreener.com/DTR. Get your special $5 discount just for listening to today's show. This has been RPM for a Trader Spotlight Product Spotlight Special. See you next time.
Finally, a trading planner that outperforms the rest compared to all the other professional trading planners. Oh, wait, there are none. Eye in the Sky is the only inclusive end-to-end solution for planning and tracking trades. Easy technical analysis with powerful scanning capabilities. Personalize your dashboard, define your rules, and then the My Rating will show you which trading opportunities match your trading style. Now featuring My Web Pages. Any stock, any web page, just one mouse click. All your favorite sites, all in one location. How cool is that? Eye in the Sky, the only product in its class, customized to your trading style. Plan instead of chasing those profits. Start your 30-day free trial only at eyeintheskyscreener.com.